I'll be the keynote speaker. That's right. I'd like you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Our flag is back this way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, thank you guys for being here. We had a lot of people come that have left. There were some people that were going over shooting and they're not back here yet. But just to get everybody, on with the rest of their day, I'm going to introduce Bill Burris. He's here representing West Lafayette. It took me 3 months to be able to say that properly. That's the Washington State Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors Association. They've been opposed to 594 since last year.
July of last year.
Last year. So they knew it was coming down the pike and they saw it for what it was. It's not going to reduce crime. It's not going to do anything but make law-abiding citizens criminals. The punishments are draconian. And this is not anything about gun control. It's more about people control. Okay? So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Bill Burris.
Well, hello there, and I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to stand back here just enough to get my eyeballs out of the sun. Yeah, I'm here representing Washington State Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors Association. I am a retired detective from the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. I served on that department for 31 years, 10 months. And the reason I'm the spokesman for West Lafayette, quite frankly, is because I've been their spokesman before and I'm retired. It's kind of hard to put pressure on me. Now, you should know that not only is West Lafayette opposed to 594 and in support of 591, but also the Washington Council of Police and Sheriffs, WACOPS, is opposed. And there are about 7,500 rank and file police officers in that organization. And the votes to take that stance with WACOPS, I am reliably informed, was 80-1. And in West Lafayette, it was unanimous. And why? Well, because A, the same reasons you're opposed to it. We've read the damn thing. We encourage people to get online, print out the thing, and have it at your fingertips, because there might be some things in there that you don't understand, but there's plenty that you will understand. I've been in rooms full of attorneys, like 4 to 5, arguing about some of the permutations of this thing, but the basic stuff that's wrong with it is pretty obvious. All you got to do is be aware of it. The people that you talk to who may not be impressed with the NRA's position on this, and God bless the NRA, I'm in the NRA, okay? But if those people you talk to are not impressed with the NRA, they need to be aware that the police officers in their state, the real police officers, the ones that are working, are opposed to 594. And that might make them stop and think, well, maybe I should be too. Okay? Now, when you see an individual police chief from somewhere, who in this case, it's been on the TV, is not even working right now, I want you to keep in mind that unlike sheriffs who have to be elected, police chiefs are appointed, and they're appointed by some political master. And they better say what the political master wants them to say if they want to keep working or if they want another job down the road. So don't get too upset about what they say. And you need to tell your friends and relatives also that when it comes to politics, I wouldn't worry about what the police chief says. On the other hand, you might want to contact your sheriff and ask him, or depending on where you're from, her, what is their position? You deserve to know. I mean, after all, you elect these people. You don't want them to be, in essence, trying to take your civil rights away when you're not looking. Okay? So, the other things I want to tell you is that this is obviously not going to work even if it passes. The reason it's not going to work is because, oh, I don't know, you think there's some people that might tend to ignore it in their private transactions? We do. We also think that there's going to be people who do that who know that they shouldn't be if they're following the law, but there's also going to be an awful lot of people that don't have the slightest idea what has become illegal. Things that you could do legally in this country since the time King George ran the place will suddenly be illegal. Okay? So we want to avoid this. We don't want a bunch of people becoming what they call accidental felons. You loan your gun to your brother-in-law, he goes off with it for a week, and he comes back and gives it back to you. You've just got a felony rap. Gross misdemeanor the first time you pass it to somebody, Class C felony when you get it back. That's crazy. This is not going to prevent any kind of crime. As I said, I was a detective. Now, do you ever get a crime solved because you recover a gun that somebody left at the scene and you look at the serial number and see who the owner was? Damn rare. Not very often. In the legal profession, they talk about a doctrine of competing harms. Is the good idea that once in a blue moon you might solve a crime because a gun was recovered? I never had it happen, but you might. Is that overwhelm the good of you having your civil rights and your privacy with your firearms? We don't think so. And the police in this state don't think so. Other things that you need to keep in mind is, despite what they tell you, and I've been to the debate up there at the TV show, Como Town Hall, and those people are amazing. They spew out more falsehoods in a faster period of time than anybody I ever saw in my life. And one of the things they're going to tell you is there's no registration with this. That's what this is all about. It's not about preventing crime. This is a crime bill without any police support, except for a couple of itinerant chiefs that are running around. Okay? No, this is about registering your firearm. And every time, if this passes, that you have a transaction, you're expected to run down to an FFL dealer who, to comply with this state law, is going to have to be not in compliance with federal law, okay, in terms of where the guns are during the transaction, okay? And then it's going to be registered with the Department of Licensing. If this passes, every gun that you purchase will be registered, and you will be accountable for that gun for the rest of your life. Because if it actually gets stolen, well, how can you prove that it was really stolen? Couldn't you just be saying that because you don't want to be accountable for that gun? Okay. What could happen down the road after this passes? Well, I suspect that you're going to see down the road things like, oh, we're going to levy a tax on every gun that you own, and now we know how many guns you own, so we can send you a bill. Can't happen? Sure, it can happen. What else might take place? Oh, you know how the gun of the month becomes a bad gun? We'll have a publicity campaign. Oh, we got to get rid of that gun. So now we'll call up everybody that in this state that's got gun X or gun Y registered to them and say, well, you got to turn that one in, partner. It just got to be illegal. It's too dangerous. Okay. And what else have we seen happen in other states? Lists of your gun-owning public appear in the newspaper. You want everybody that reads the newspaper to see your address? It's like a big neon sign that says, break into this house. There's guns to be had. You don't want that. So what we need to do is defeat this thing. Now, don't let the size of this group discourage you too much. Okay? There's lots of people that got lots of things that they want to be doing besides standing here in the parking lot. I'm glad you showed up. But you can get the word out there. When you're talking to people that are thinking they're going to vote for 594, tell them, no, the police are opposed to it. If they don't believe you, here's a one-stop shopping thing for you to keep in mind. Some of you know about an outfit called Washington Arms Collectors. Go to Washington Arms Collectors' website. On the top row, on the front page of that website, there's tabs for Waslefia and WACOPS. Press the button, you get a copy of their one-page position statement. You can print it out. You can show your friends and relatives that the police in this state don't want this. This thing has been concocted by the enemies of the Constitution and your right to keep arms. It's just as simple as that. It needs to be stopped. Also, don't forget, it's important to have 591 pass. Because even if 594 passes, that throws a monkey wrench in things. A lot of people argue about what's going to happen if they both pass. Here's what I think will happen. You'd go to the court, and the court will say, we got to refer this to the legislature. Well, you get a hell of a lot better break out of your legislature right now than you will out of this initiative if it were to pass, okay? So don't give up the fight. Tell people where you're coming from. Stay on the facts. We'll get this message out, and we're going to beat this thing, okay? So remember, you can get those things at the Washington Arms Collectors website. You can also get it at the Waslefia website, if you can remember, WSLEFIA, Washington State Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors Association. Okay, questions? Okay, I will be hanging around for a while, so if you got anything you want to ask me, feel free to do so. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. We want to thank the Marksman and Mike Grabowski. Said, crowd isn't as large as I was hoping it'd be, but we had a great reception at the Washington State Fair. I can tell you, it was phenomenal to have the number of people come by the booth, see the sign, give us a thumbs up. Some people just came over and grabbed the clipboard that said, I pledge to vote no on 594. And it gave me a new hope, because the other side is outspending us 7-1. Okay? We're not going to have the funds. But what we need, and what I do believe we have, is we have the people, we have the passion, and we have the will to make sure that 594 doesn't pass. And what that's going to take is every single one of you and every single other gun owner that you know, anyone that is a constitutionalist, okay, we need to spread the word. So we have door hangers, okay? Take a stack full of door hangers and go around your neighborhood, okay? If you're a PCO, get people in your district to be putting those door hangers out, talking to people. Take some flyers, put them around everywhere you know. Put them on the bulletin board at work. Send emails to your friends. Say, hey, I checked this out and I'm voting no because this is a bad, bad piece of legislation. This is a bad law. Let everyone that's in your sphere of influence, because I know I'm preaching to the crowd right now, right? I mean, to the choir. But I need my choir now to go out and spread the word, because that's the only way we're even going to get close to defeating this. Because a lot of people think that there's nothing wrong with background checks. And you know what? I'm a member of the Washington Arms Collector, and gee whiz, I went through a background check so I could be a member. If I go into the gun show and I want to buy a gun from a dealer, I have to go through another background check. They're right. You know, it's okay. Background checks are okay. But this is not about background checks. We already talked about that. It's an 18-page piece of legislation that all it's going to do is criminalize lawful behavior, and it's not going to change criminal behavior. So please, take some time to take some materials. Our contact information, both mine and Keeley, but I work mostly this area. We will have yard signs, more yard signs, in hopefully 7 to 10 days or so. We want to build up some crews to go out. There's the Yes on 594 people have been papering Gig Harbor, and I heard Pearl Street and North 21st Street, which are high traffic areas. We need to get some of our signage out there. So anyone who's willing to, like in a couple of weeks, let's go on a sign blitz, knock on some doors. Let's make phone calls. We have a list that you can call. And Lexi, you have that information. Okay, it's a real easy process. You can just sit at home and basically it dials for you, and then somebody will pick up the phone and you chat with them. And we have a script. This is what we need to do. We need to touch as many people as we possibly can, because once people learn about what 594 is really about, they will vote no. But if you don't tell them, okay, they may not find out. I don't watch television to speak of. I'm one of those, if I want to record anything, if I want to watch anything, I record it, then I skip through the commercials. There's been so many people come up to me and say, well, what is 594? I don't know about it. We've even had NRA members call me and say, this is the first I've heard about it. So we have an opportunity here, because we have an opportunity to educate people. Lexi, is there anything you want to say? Nah.
I'm just going to say, I know everyone, starting to get frustrated. We're seeing the TV. We're seeing, the money that the other side is dumping into this, making sure that this initiative becomes law. Don't let that discourage you. I know that it's easy to say, well, where's the NRA? Where's the NRA's money? Where are the TV ads? Where are the billboards? billboards are here, TV is coming, and the NRA is every single person standing in front of me, and the 70,000 other NRA members in the state of Washington. The NRA isn't some headquarters back in Virginia, which is, they're loaning me out to the state of Washington here for about a week and a half. The NRA is you guys, is the membership. That's how we're going to win this thing. It's not by putting a bunch of money into TV ads and just that get droned out, get fast forwarded through. People don't pay attention. It's with the personal contacts. It's our NRA membership reaching outside of, their house and going door to door, making the phone calls, just making sure that, like Adina said, we talk to everyone. I want every single person that's standing in front of me here today to make it their job to talk to 20 people that as of this moment they haven't yet met. That's how we're going to win this thing. Talking to people at the coffee shop. I picked up Panera this morning for our workshop. Talked to the gentleman that was helping me load the car. Richard was talking to folks at the car place when he went to get his car or his new tags. Things like that. They don't have to be necessarily, pro-gun with NRA swag on for you to talk to them. All they have to be is an open-minded citizen for you to be able to say, hey, let's take a minute to talk about this initiative, and this is why it's bad. And if you have any questions about it, obviously, Adina is very well versed in it. So is Keely. We have our website. I'm here as well. Talk to us. If you have questions, let us know. That's why we're here, so that you can go on and, like Adina said, be our choir that then goes out and reaches out to the community. I guess, does anyone have any questions while we're here? Sure. Yes.
I'm still trying to get Roger about that. Okay, so we're looking at having a rally later on in October. But I don't have the details on that yet. That would be at the Sumner Sportsman's Club, and I would encourage, and maybe if it's not sunny, we'll have more people that come out for that. I wanted to take a minute though. Keely Hopkins is our campaign field representative. Keely works mostly Seattle and north, and I work Seattle south. But there's a lot of times we have crossover and. Of course, she was at the fair too, and Lexi was at the fair for a few days. And again, I think they experienced what I did, which was there's a lot more people out there than we're seeing right now that know better. They know to vote no, and they have some sense. Jason, this is Jason Bergstrom. Yeah.
How you guys doing? My name is Jason Bergstrom, and I'm running for the state representative in the 29th district. That's going to be Parkland, Spanaway, South Tacoma, and part of Lakewood. I was watching the Como News this morning and watching the forum that they had, and they included suicide as gun violence. I just want to let you know my mother committed suicide by gun 3 years ago, and that gun did not pull its own trigger. She decided to. If they would have helped the underlying mental issues, which she so desperately sought help for, she would have not committed suicide. So I don't blame the gun. What I blame is our system. Our system is flawed, and we need to get legislators in that are going to make a difference at the root cause, not a top of the issue like this. This is a bad bill all the way around. If you read it, it's 18 pages. Something that is just an initiative that is just background checks does not need to be 18 pages long, plain and simple. If I get into office and I am elected as a state representative, and this bill does pass, I would do everything I could to put it on to where the legislators have a chance to vote for it and make it no longer a law. But let's just start here and tell your friends and family, and I'll be out knocking doors, so hopefully everybody else will be too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out. I know we've got some cookies and some coffee left inside the Marksman. If you haven't been in there yet, go on, check it out. It's a great shop. And make sure you talk to either Keely, Adina, or myself. If you haven't already signed up to volunteer or signed the pledge, do that. Like Adina said, make sure you take some materials. We're not going to win this thing if you all don't join us in this fight. So thank you for coming out.
If you want a copy of the Waslefia or Wakop's position paper, there's a limited number up here, one of each staple.
Okay, there's a limited number of copies of the Wakops and Waslefia position statements. I also have electronic copies, so if you want to email me and ask for that, that is something you can easily email out to your friends as well. One more thing, there's a gentleman here. Jason, where'd you go? Oh, not that Jason. The other Jason. Jason did a large version of our bumper sticker to go on the windows of my car. And I'll pull those out. And I'm sorry, Kiriaki from Mary's Pistols, that's where I first saw them. It looks beautiful. And I'm going to continue, I'm going to keep those on my car. So Jason's going to help me put them on. But if anybody wants to get a larger version of that bumper sticker, let's talk to Jason about that, okay? Raise your hand.
And one last thing, I promise I'm just about done with this microphone, but you can actually register to vote if you haven't already done so here today and all the way up through October 6th inside the Marksman. So if you haven't done that, that's an essential first step to helping us defeat this initiative.